Hey y'all, I wanted to show you my lemon tree. I had it outside all summer and it did so well. This is the first year I've ever had a lemon tree. It's a Meyer lemon tree. It bloomed a lot and I ended up with about 10 lemons. And it takes several months, I think 8 to 10 months for a lemon to ripen. And they stayed green all summer. By the time it was too cold to leave it outside, I brought it in, and then right about that time, the lemons ripened. They turned yellow. I read that you should wait until they turn kind of an egg yolk color, and then they're ripe enough to pick. So they're really ready now, they're ripe. Doesn't this look pretty though? I really wish I could just leave it like this and that the lemons would stay this color all year and it would just look so pretty in my dining room. I just love it. I am losing a few leaves and I don't know if it just is shocked or if it's too dry in the house. I'm sure it's just a huge difference between being outside and being in here. So hopefully it will recover, and after I pick the lemons that it will bounce back and that I will get lemons again next year. So today I just wanted to show you my lemon tree, and we're gonna make some lemon bars. They're so good, and I make it in a round shape instead of square. So let's start picking some lemons and we'll make our lemon bars. Oh y'all, when I picked these, I noticed there's like some moisture at the top and it smells so good. It smells very lemony. And I think I'm just gonna pick 4 right now. The recipe calls for 5 lemons, but these are kind of big, so I'm gonna use 4. And that way I can leave my other lemons on the tree so I can enjoy how pretty they look. We'll start our lemon bars by making a shortbread crust that's gonna be the foundation. We have 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, ½ cup of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We have 2 sticks of butter that we need to cut in little chunks before we add it. I'm going to go ahead and whisk this together before I add the butter. I'm sure you can use a food processor, but I just like to use this. It's just simpler, it's easier to clean, and it doesn't take all that long. But what we're gonna do is just cut the butter into this flour and sugar until it's just really small pieces of butter. This part's really easy. There are only really 4 ingredients. They're easy to measure, easy to throw together. This whole recipe really is very easy. See, it doesn't take that long. And then I can just wash this and I'm done. This is how you want it, just little pieces of butter mixed with everything. I'm gonna set this aside and spray our pan. I'm gonna use a 10-inch springform pan. I just felt like lemon bars are always just square, in a square pan, and there's not much you can do to them to make them look better. So I decided to use a round pan. I'm gonna use Baker's Joy. I can't imagine that this would even stick because it has so much butter in it, but I'm gonna do this just in case. Be sure to preheat your oven. I almost forgot to. But we have our pan sprayed, and so now all we have to do is just press in this mixture. I'm gonna wash this bowl and use the same bowl for the filling so that I don't have so many dishes. I'm just gonna take my hand and level it out. You can feel with your hand where it needs to be and how you can kind of spread it and make it even. Just make it as even as you can. And once it's all level, just press it down. And I like to have it go up the sides just a tiny bit. Kind of helps keep the filling in. Okay, that's all there is to it. Now we're going to bake it for about 20 minutes at 350. So while our crust bakes, we can start getting the filling together. We have 2 cups of sugar. The sugar I bought is really lumpy and I'm not sure why that is. We have about 3/4 of a cup of flour, 6 eggs, I used to wash my hands between cracking every egg, but now I've just learned how to do it left-handed. And I just stack them and hold them. And that's 6 eggs. And then I just whisk all this together, break up the eggs. Okay, now we need to zest and juice all of our lemons. I just washed the lemons and now we're going to zest them. When you zest the lemon, you just try not to get into the white part because that's really bitter. Okay, now we want to get all the zest into our mixture. It smells so good. Now we're going to juice the lemons. I'm going to use this juicer and then I'll strain it as I pour it into this measuring cup just to make sure we don't get any seeds. Oh wow, look at this. It smells really good. Very juicy lemons. It smells so good. I'm really happy to have found a recipe where I can use the entire lemon, the zest and the juice and everything, because I've been waiting for these lemons all summer. We just have one more. I found this juicer at an antique store. I actually have a couple of them and they are so handy. It's just one little glass item and it's so easy to clean. Let's see, we have 2 minutes left on our crust, so this was perfect timing. All I have to do is add this juice. Oh, this is perfect. It's just very slightly brown. I can still hear it bubbling. You don't have to let it cool completely, but I'm gonna let it cool down just for a second. In the meantime, I'm gonna turn the oven down to 325. Okay, at least the pan is cool to the touch by now, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour the filling in. And I almost forgot, let's put some foil around the bottom of this pan because we don't want any of the juices to leak out. It might with a springform pan. Okay, now we can get it in the oven. We're gonna bake it about 28 to 30 minutes, but we're gonna keep an eye on it. And when it's done, you'll know. You shake the pan, and if it jiggles, you still need to bake it a little bit longer. Okay, I've checked it, and it's not wiggling anymore. It's been cooking for probably more like 35 minutes, but I just kept checking it. I may go ahead and take a knife and go around the edges just to be sure it's not gonna stick before I put it in the refrigerator. It's gonna need to cool in the refrigerator for a couple of hours at least, probably 2 or 3 hours before we cut it, because it will cut a lot cleaner that way. I kinda hate to take a metal knife and run along this since this is non-stick. I don't want it to scratch it, so I have a plastic knife and I'm gonna try to use this just very carefully. Oh yeah, it did not stick. I can tell that right away. I think that Baker's Joy did the trick. Just in a few little places, it stuck, you know, it had just a little tiny bit. But this is gonna help whenever we decide to take the sides off. Okay, now I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator and we'll come back in a few hours and we'll cut it and see what it tastes like. Okay, so this has been in the refrigerator for several hours. I'm gonna take the foil off and try to take the sides off. Looks like some of it tried to leak out, but it's not a lot. Okay, that part came out really well. Okay, now I'm gonna try to cut it in a shape so that it will look like a lemon slice. And so let's see how this works. Okay, first I'm gonna try to kind of score a middle circle before I try to cut it. Okay, that looks pretty good. I sprayed the knife with a little Baker's Joy because this is really gooey and it will not cut straight lines. Okay, now I want to make these cross cuts to make the lemon segments. This is gonna be the lemon rind. Okay, so far this is working really well. Just one more careful cut. Okay, can we see now that it looks like a lemon slice? Okay, so what I did is I put some parchment paper over the top, and with a pen I just drew the circle that I cut. And then I cut the circle out to give me a little template. And so what we're gonna do now, and it's sticky, so the parchment paper will stick to it a little bit. You don't want it to stick a lot, but just enough that the powdered sugar doesn't get outside. The other day I was cooking some honey nut squash and I decided to save some of the seeds and maybe plant some. And so as I was doing this, I thought, this is the perfect size for like a lemon seed. So I'm gonna use this as a template and put a few lemon seeds down. Because you usually find lemon seeds when you cut a lemon slice, right? And they're usually around the center. Okay, so we have this done and we're gonna sprinkle powdered sugar on top. And I just want to put enough so that we can still see the lines, but it's coated pretty well in powdered sugar. I think this is good. I'm trying to get this up without this powdered sugar getting everywhere, so I'll just be very careful and maybe go towards the center when I start lifting. Oh my goodness, look. Okay, now I gotta get the seeds off. I decided that we could put these slices around the edges. Isn't that pretty? It's so cute. I think it's better than just square lemon squares. And I'll show you how we need to cut this. I think you can just present it like this and then remove the lemon slices when you get ready to serve it. See, I think what I would do is go ahead and cut all the way through. So I'll just follow the lines and cut all the way around in the circle, and then just continue this line this way. Someone can have this piece, and then you have this piece. I think these lemon bars are so cute the way it's decorated, but you can make it in a 9x13 pan and just cut them in squares, and they're so good. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next video.